Yo, welcome to Nerdy Soul, where we do shoes and board game reviews. My name is Chris, the Geek in Sneaks, and today we're doing a Kickstarter nerdy preview of the game Masters to Mythics, brought to us by Baskerville Productions. This game is currently on Kickstarter. It is a magic theme. I love magic, so why wait around? Let's dive in. Now, as I said before, I'm a big magic fan. All my friends realize this. I've been to so many magic shows. Every time one comes into town, I am the first one to buy a ticket. I travel to go see the magic shows. I love the magic TV shows like Magic for Humans and stuff. And I'm really excited about the new movie coming out, Now You See Me, Now You Don't. So this is super up my alley in terms of a theme. And I love, one thing about this is that all these characters in this game are based off of real people or mythics that were thought that they could have been true. So this game, as I said, is brought to us by Baskerville Productions, designed by Michael McClure and Michael McClure II. And I got a chance to play this several months ago for the first time. I got introduced to it, and then I thought it was such a great idea, such a great incorporation of different mechanics. And I asked the designers to let me have a copy to preview before they went on to the Kickstarter. So I'm going to do a little bit of a walkthrough about how the game operates, and then we will dive into the nerdy preview. So let's look top down and I'll show you how it plays. Okay, so let's learn a little bit on how to play Masters to Mythics behind the magic. And this is gonna be a little bit of a quick teach. We're not gonna go through the full how to play. There are other videos that have done that, but I want y'all to have full context on what you're going to be doing. So this is a basic setup for a game. If you're playing multiple players, you do the same thing. Everyone gets their own mat, and everyone will start the game with this same mat setup. So your tokens will be the same setup here as what I'm seeing or what I'm showing here. You'll also have different mythics that you'll set up, and these are how you're going to mostly get points in the game. These have a very big range. They go from era 1, 2, and 3, and that is just to let you know how difficult they are to achieve. Okay, so we'll do a little bit of that to show you a little bit of the back of the cards and a little bit on that. So you can see that the era 3 card has got a lot of points that go to it. The legends, those are the cards you're trying to achieve on your board in order to then attain the mythic cards. And then the masters, those are the cards that are helping you to move and manipulate your board. Everyone's gonna have their own reference card here, which to me is one of the best things on this game. The icons are so great. You'll have your acrylic people start over there. We'll lay them down in a sense so you can kind of see where they are as well. The magic wand is for the first player marker. It also breaks ties as well. So you'll pass this every round to the next player. So to start a round, you're going to flip over 2 master cards that everyone is going to be able to then use these abilities to manipulate their mat. All right, you're going to start with these 2 legends here, and once you complete a legend, you will flip it over and use this book to accomplish other goals. Okay, so in this case, I want to kind of show you the different actions you can do. You've got different ones such as this that allows you to flip over 2 tiles, which means you can do something like that with 2 different tiles. This is only 1 tile. This is switching out any orthogonally, so you might want to do this with that. This one is diagonally, so you might want to be able to, let's say, if you were here, you could, do something like that. Okay. This is sliding one, so you could slide it into an open space. And this is just switching out any 2. So I could just literally flip these over as such. All right. And everyone will get a chance to use these 2 out, but if you don't like those, you can do any of the basics. So I walk through all of them, but on your card, you've got basic actions and advanced actions. The advanced ones are the ones under here. And if you don't like those, you can do 1 basic action instead of 2 of whatever's revealed. So in this case, I can move things, swap 2 orthogonally, and I can flip 1 over. I'm trying to match my legend cards exactly as displayed here on my mat. So in this case, I'm pretty close. I've got King Clovis here that has got this yellow eye, this blue snake, and the white feather. All right, the white feather's already here, the eye is there and there. So I might want to use Lewis Pops Krieger ability to swap this out. All right, and now I have done this. Now I accomplished this exactly as it is on my board, but you can turn this card accordingly to do the accomplishment. So once I've done that, I'm now going to flip this over on this side. This just lets me know that I have accomplished this person. But what you really want is you want to be able to use them for their books. So as you accomplish these things, you want to use the book. Once you accomplish one, you immediately draw a new legend from any pile. You get to choose. So maybe if I'm going for this legend right here that needs a blue and a yellow, even though I have a yellow, I might choose another yellow just to help me to make sure I can get that quickly, because I want to get that and, accomplish this, and then also need to accomplish this formation to get it. So let's say over the course of the game, I'm going around. Once everyone's taken those two actions, you discard those and you deal out two more. And you're going to keep doing this until people are starting to accumulate points. Let's say that I've eventually gotten my yellow and I then thus want to get this person. I also could have just used my single blue to accomplish this fellow who could use one of any book in this combination. But let's just say that I wanted this one in particular. Let's just move some things around here. So let's say that this was here. I had gotten this there and that. All right. So I've accomplished this formation here. I've got my blue and my yellow. I would then take this and that would have scored me points. You then reveal a new mythic and so on. Now, if two people accomplish this at the same time, they're both reaching, that's where the magic wand comes into play. It helps break the tie. So every turn you pass this to the next player and whoever's first player will win the tie. And if there's another tie, you can just use the person to the left of the first player. They will win that tie. And that's the game. So once you accomplish those 13 points, you move your marker up accordingly. So I move it to 13, let's say, and then according to the amount of players playing the game, you're trying to achieve a certain amount of points. Once you get to those points, which is here, I believe this is two players, 3 players, 4 players, 5 players, 6 players. Once someone gets to that, they win the game. And that is Masters to Mythics. Okay, so let's dive into the N.E.R.D.Y preview. So a N.E.R.D.Y preview or N.E.R.D.Y review is a method that I like to use. N.E.R.D.Y stands for Novelty, Engagement, Replayability, Design, and Yay Factor. These are 5 categories that I normally would give a score between 1 and 5 to, but for Kickstarters, I do not do a full score because it's not a completed, fully designed game just yet. So I'll just talk about those different categories and what I like about this game in those and who I think that it's for. So let's start out with N for Novelty. Novelty is all about how unique is this game, how unique is its mechanics, what is it bringing into the space. And I gotta say, I haven't really seen a game like this in the space that often, talking about magic so directly. Also, I don't think I've had a game that gives me literally a magic wand. So this alone makes me super excited about the game. But I think that it's very unique in the sense that it's leaning into the mythology of magic, of magicians. You've got these legend cards, you've got these master cards, and you've got these mythic cards. So these mythics are people that probably, obviously never really existed. Some of them, I'm sure that people would argue, but there's like lizard people and stuff, right? And then you've got these legends and these masters that are based off of real people and or people that might not have existed. And so I really like how the game incorporates that and then also feels thematic in that way. In terms of the theme of what you're doing in the game, you're not really doing the most thematic turns, but I like how the rulebook explains where you're trying to earn prowess by accomplishing these things and, ties it back into the theme, which is really cool. Next is E for engagement. Engagement is all about how you're interacting with other people and sort of interacting with the game and how engaging it is. Does it keep your attention for long periods of time? Do you feel like you're getting sort of bored? The answer is no. You don't really get bored in this game. This game is not the most engaging game with the other players because it is very much a think and do your own thing, but you have to be very aware of what other people are doing and what cards they're going after. Because if you're trying to solve your own puzzle using the public cards and you're going after the same mythic card out in the market as someone else, you might be doing a lot of turns that ultimately are going to cost you in the end because someone's ahead of you. So you do need to be very engaged with your mind, but you're not doing any table talk necessarily until someone might take your card and you're like, oh, what the crap? You know, so there's a lot of that. It's very much an individual test amongst your peers, which feels sort of thematic in a way of magicians. You know, you go to a magic show and you don't really, if you're another magician, you're not standing up there dueling them. You're watching them do their thing and then they might watch. It's very like Prestige. I feel like I'm in the Prestige when I play this game, and the Prestige has always been one of my favorite movies ever. So it definitely feels cool in that way, but you're not engaging with other people. You're mostly engaging with your own mind and your own strategy and can you accomplish the things you're trying to do. And I find that to be really unique. Next is R for replayability. There are a lot of cards in this game, which I feel like I say a lot when I do these reviews, but I think this game needs that many cards because you really go through them as you're going through the game. When you're flipping over those master cards, if you can't do both of those, or if you don't feel like both of those actions are most beneficial to you, you take a basic action and then you only do one thing and then you flip over two more. So you really get through the amount of cards there. But because all of these different abilities, and then depending upon which mythics are out and depending upon which legend you are working on, your solo puzzle that you're trying to figure out is always feels fresh. You never feel like you're doing the same thing. You do set up the same way every time, which would be nice if there was way more variable setup, like challenges and stuff, but there are different challenges in the rule book, which I find to be a really nice addition. Especially the solo mode is very one where you're just challenging yourself. How quickly can you accomplish getting to a certain amount of points? Can you do it better the next time? It does feel, you know, really nice in that way to challenge yourself. So in terms of replayability, every time you play this game, it's going to feel different. You're not going to feel like you're doing the same thing, almost because every time you're trying to accomplish a different task, someone's probably already taken it, and then you are left to squander your own things and hope that the next mythic card is going to be more beneficial to you. So definitely a fun, replayable game in that way, and there's not a ton of skill variation. So someone that's played it a lot, as long as you pick up the rules, you're right there with them. You can play with them because it is very easy to learn. Now, D for design focuses on not only the design of the game, but the production of the game. Now, this is a little bit harder to give a full review on because, again, this is a prototype. It's important to remember that this is all prototype stuff. Art, rules, things might change before the final copy gets delivered. But I'll have to say the design of this game is really nice. Let's talk about the mechanics first. I think it's a nice blend of solo, solitaire, puzzle, things that are interacting with people. So normally in these type of games, they're not my favorite type because I'm just doing my own puzzle. I want to be engaged with people while I'm playing board games. But with this game, I really like the spin on it that you have to be aware of what people are doing. And I really like that every one of these cards, every legend, every mythic, feels different. It doesn't feel like a repeat. And every card has got individual art on it, which is a huge plus. I mean, there's a lot of art in this game. So if you're fans of different art on every card, you're going to get that. And the graphic design is really spot on. I think this has got some fantastic iconography, to be honest. I think that these reference cards are great. They're also got a little bit of linen finish on them. Like every one of your moves is clearly laid out on your card. All of the icons, there's plenty of contrast for the need to know information on it. You also get your own little player mat, which to me is just over the top, right? You would think that you would just get a chipboard mat, but no, you get your own player mat. And I always have a hard time with moving cards around and stuff. So if you play this game on a player mat and you have your own player mat, it's just really satisfying. Also, I know you can hear that clickety clack. These things are great. Like these chips, these poker chips, just high quality material. For a prototype, this is really, really nice. I just love the way that sounds. And so big fan of what they were able to accomplish with this. And we cannot forget the really well-designed insert. So normally in a prototype, you're not gonna get to experience the plastic insert. Here it is. I don't have everything in here because it would be jumbling around, but it's super well designed. Every token has got its own place inside of it. You're going to be able to have all the cards in different places. The playmats will fit nicely. And then obviously the magic wand first player marker fits nicely in there as well. There's thumb holes, finger holes in there for you to be able to get things out really easily. It's just a really well designed game in terms of production. So high marks in that. If you want a satisfying feeling, definitely check this out. And you also, instead of just chipboard tokens to mark your score, you do get these really cool acrylic figures that has some nice art on it. This one just reminds me of like Harry Potter for some reason. I just think that's pretty cool. Now, I'm sure that they're probably going to do a little bit of updating for the board. This is pretty standard. I feel like this is probably the one thing that is the least produced in the game. You don't really need it to be that produced, but I would love to see this have more theme on it in the future. But that's nitpicking. I'm nitpicking right there because everything in this is really high production value. And finally, we have the yay factor. The yay factor is how excitable the game is. How does it, do you have these big Europa moments, you know, like Eureka and like, you know, abracadabra in this case? Do you have that moment in this game? You get those in spells. At the end of the game, you're not gonna have this big, yes, you know, whoa, what an epic move to win. Someone's just going to win. And that's kind of okay. In these type of solo, you're doing your own puzzle games, it's pretty much to be expected. You're not gonna have this big moment of figuring out how great it was for someone to win. You're just trying to get your own cards. And honestly, after a couple plays of this, you're gonna start feeling really rewarded because you're gonna start getting a bit more of the gameplay down. You're gonna get your turns down more. You're gonna accomplish more in the game. I personally really like to play this solo because I'm able to challenge myself. That's where you get the best yay factors, how well I can accomplish this. I also think this plays really nicely at 2. If you're a couple or if you've got a really good friend, I think this is a great 2-player mode. You know, it's got plays up to 6 players. I haven't played a 6-player game. That'd be kind of a lot. But it also is, again, such a solo puzzle that it wouldn't get in the way. So not a big, huge moment in the game, but you have tiny wins throughout the game that really keep you feeling satisfied. And that is Masters to Mythics, brought to us by Baskerville Productions, currently on Kickstarter. If you're into Magic, if you're into cool solo games, if you're in the high production value, good theme, supporting indie creators, this is a game that I suggest you check out. They've also got some cool promotions running on the Kickstarter, I believe, where you're able to do some magic kits and stuff like that. So definitely check that out and tell them the Nerdy Soul sent you. But let me know how you enjoyed this review. Are you a big Magic fan? Have you been to a magic show recently? Who's your favorite magician if you have one? And tell me about your experience. I had an experience where I was in Vegas and I was doing street magic, and it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had, where I was getting all these tricks done on me. I love like being just flabbergasted at magic. So definitely tell me some magic stories in the comments if you have some. But until next time, stay nerdy, keep that soul dirty.